The dream home illusion. For decades, we've been sold a dream. Grow up, get a job, buy a house, live happily ever after. It's the classic American dream, even if you're not in America, let's be real, you've heard it too. Owning your own home is supposed to be the ultimate life achievement, right? But let's pause for a second and ask a simple question. What if buying a home isn't always the smart move? What if, brace yourself, it could actually be one of the worst financial decisions you ever make? I know, that sounds crazy. We've all been told that real estate only goes up. It's the safest investment, they say. You're throwing money away by renting, they scream. But here's the thing. Just because something worked in the past doesn't mean it will work forever. Let's take a closer look at this so-called dream. People say owning a home gives you stability, but in reality, it ties you down. You've got a 30-year mortgage hanging over your head, property taxes that never go away, maintenance costs that pop up out of nowhere, and let's not forget the risk of losing value if the market turns. Sounds secure, huh? When you rent, yeah, you don't build equity, but you also have freedom. You're not responsible for fixing the roof or dealing with that leaky pipe at 3 a.m. You can move if a job opportunity comes up or if your neighbors start blasting reggaeton at midnight. No hate, but you get the point. Here's a little secret nobody talks about. Most people overpay for houses, not just because of inflated prices, but because of all the extra stuff. Interest, fees, taxes, insurance, repairs. It adds up. That $300,000 house, you might end up paying $500,000 plus over 30 years. And let's be honest, most of us aren't buying homes with cash. We're borrowing money from banks and paying them a nice chunk of change in interest. So who really owns the house? You or the bank? We've seen it happen before. The 2008 crash wasn't just a fluke, it was a wake-up call. And right now, some of the same warning signs are flashing. Prices have gone up way faster than wages. People are stretched thin trying to qualify for mortgages. Interest rates are climbing. Demand is starting to slow. If the market crashes and your house loses value, guess what? You're stuck paying off a loan for something that's worth way less than you paid. That's not a dream, that's a nightmare. It's simple. Culture, family pressure, and FOMO. Fear of missing out. Everyone else is doing it, so you feel like you have to. Your parents bought a house and did okay, so it must be the right move, right? Maybe. But today's world is not the same. The economy is different. Jobs are different. Life is more flexible. And so are your options. The point is, don't buy into the dream just because it's what everyone else is doing. Question it. Run the numbers. Look at your situation. Be honest about your goals and lifestyle. Owning a home can be a good thing, but only when it makes sense for you, not because your Uncle Gary said, renting is for losers. In the next chapters, we'll dig deeper into why the real estate market might be heading towards some serious trouble and what you can do to protect yourself. But for now, remember this. The dream home can become a trap. Don't sleepwalk into it. Let's talk numbers, but not the boring kind. We're talking people. Specifically, the fact that there are about to be way less of them in the coming decades. And that's a huge deal for real estate. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, aren't there more people than ever? True, for now. But here's the thing. Birth rates are tanking almost everywhere. Fewer babies equals fewer future home buyers. Simple math. Let's take a look at what's happening worldwide. Japan, Italy, Germany, South Korea, all seeing serious population decline. Even in the US, birth rates have hit record lows. Millennials are having fewer kids, and Gen Z, they're not even sure they want kids or homes. And why would they? Student debt is insane, wages haven't kept up with inflation, and let's be honest, who feels financially stable enough these days to start a family? That means that 20, 30 years from now, there will be fewer people looking to buy homes. Supply is going up in many areas, but demand? It's looking shaky. Let's play this out. Imagine you're in a city with aging homeowners, lots of homes being built, and fewer young people moving in. Eventually, those houses will go up for sale, but there won't be enough buyers to scoop them up. Prices drop. Sellers panic. Investors start pulling out. Boom. That's how local bubbles burst. Now imagine this playing out in multiple cities or countries at once. That's the time bomb ticking under the housing market. Real estate depends on one thing: a never-ending line of new buyers. Young people getting older, moving out, starting families, upgrading homes, that's the engine. No new people equals no new buyers. And without demand pushing prices up, what's left? Overpriced properties that sit on the market, renters who have no interest in buying, investors stuck with assets that don't appreciate. The machine breaks. It gets worse. In a lot of countries, there are more retirees than workers. That means less income tax, fewer working-age people supporting the economy, and, oh yeah, tons of seniors looking to sell their homes to downsize or move into care facilities. But who's buying those homes? If the younger generation can't afford them, or doesn't want them, they stay empty. That's already happening in rural areas all over the world, and it's creeping into the suburbs and even some cities. You'll still hear people say, real estate always goes up, or they're not making more land, but let's be real. Land without people is just empty space. The market doesn't care how limited something is. If nobody wants to buy it, it's not valuable. Simple as that. First, stop assuming real estate is a guaranteed win. It's not, especially if you're thinking long-term. Start looking at demographics before you invest. Is the population growing or shrinking in that area? Are young people moving in or moving out? Second, understand that the old rules may not apply. In the past, buying a home and sitting on it for 30 years worked out. But the future? It's going to be more complicated. And third, don't freak out. This isn't about fear. It's about being smarter than the average buyer. Because the average buyer is sleepwalking into a market that might not look anything like the one their parents knew. The bubble nobody wants to talk about. Okay, it's time we stop dancing around it. We're probably in a housing bubble. There, I said it. And before you roll your eyes or scream fear-mongering, hear me out. Because if you look at the numbers, the patterns, and the straight-up craziness happening in the real estate market, it's hard to deny that something feels off. A bubble is when prices get pumped up way beyond what something is actually worth, just because people think the price will keep going up forever. Sound familiar? And here's the thing. Every bubble in history pops. Always. Stocks, tulips, crypto, housing, you name it. When prices no longer reflect reality, it's just a matter of time before gravity kicks in. Let's be honest. Most buyers these days aren't thinking long-term. They're not asking, can I afford this home? They're asking, can I get in before prices go even higher? That kind of thinking is dangerous. It turns real estate into a casino. And once everyone starts betting, the market becomes emotional, not logical. That's when bubbles grow. Fast. Home prices have exploded over the past decade. In some cities, they've doubled or even tripled, while wages have basically crawled. That means the average person needs to stretch themselves thin, crazy thin, just to qualify for a basic home. People are maxing out their credit, taking on huge mortgages, and praying interest rates don't go any higher. Spoiler alert, they probably will. That's a recipe for collapse. It's not just regular folks buying homes. Big investors, hedge funds, corporations, Wall Street have been scooping up properties like candy. Why? Because they see housing as an asset, not shelter. They rent it out, hold it, flip it, or just sit on it and wait. But here's the catch. When the market turns sour, these same investors will be the first to bail. They're not emotionally attached. They won't stick around. They'll dump homes fast to protect profits. And when that happens, prices drop like a rock. Home selling for way above asking price? Red flag. People buying homes without seeing them in person? Red flag. Tons of new condos going up with no one to fill them? Big red flag. Folks needing 2 or 3 incomes just to qualify? You guessed it, giant red flag. This isn't sustainable. And deep down, a lot of people know it. Why no one wants to talk about it? Simple. Money. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, banks, developers, they all benefit from high prices. So nobody wants to be the one yelling, "Bubble!" at the party. It's bad for business. Plus, people don't like hearing that their $700,000 home might actually be worth $500,000 in a few years. It messes with their sense of security. So instead, they just don't talk about it.
Look for cracks, not just collapses.
Bubbles don't always explode in one day. Sometimes they leak slowly. You'll see price cuts, homes sitting longer on the market, investors pulling out quietly, sellers getting nervous. It starts small, then it snowballs. So keep your eyes open. The signs are there if you're willing to look.
Everyone says real estate never goes down.
But that's a lie. It has, and it will again. The question isn't if the bubble pops, it's when and how bad it gets. Don't be the last one holding the bag when the music stops. In the next chapter, we'll dive into what's already happening. Whole neighborhoods full of empty homes. Spoiler, it's not just spooky, it's a symptom. All right, folks, that's a wrap. If you vibed with today's video and want to level up, I've got 2 killer offers for you. First up is my basic course, a no-nonsense guide to help you understand digital marketing, start making money online, and keep your mind sharp and stress-free along the way. Because, hey, what's wealth if your head's a mess, right? And for the heavy hitters, check this out. 12,000 ChatGPT prompts, all ready to go. That's your personal arsenal for content creation, marketing strategies, automations, brainstorming, whatever you can dream up. And here's the best part. You get both for just $17.99. Yep, under 20 bucks for back-to-back value. Not bad, huh? So hit that link in the description, grab the bundle, and let's crush those goals together. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.